Complete Control Radio right there. Undertone, Jackson United, brand new record, Harmony and Dissidence in stores everywhere. These guys are currently getting ready to go out on the road. My good friend Chris Shiflett in the studio.
Thanks for having me, buddy.
Thanks for coming in, man. We've done this a few times.
Yep.
One of the things that I have to ask you, because with the phone calls and the emails, everyone asking me about the Foo Fighters hiatus. Can you kind of just give us like the 411 Reader's Digest version of what is going on in Foo Fighter land?
Well, you gotta keep in mind the last few years have been super back to back. You know, we've been touring a lot, and really like it kind of started. We had a little break after One by One, or a little break after One by One, but not even a super long break. And then we made In Your Honor, and we toured for that for a while. Then we did an acoustic tour for a while, and we did a live album. We finished that. We had about a month off, and I made this record, and then we started working on the last Foo Fighter records, and then we went on tour. You know, we made that for a few months, and then went on tour for like a year. So really, like the last several years have been pretty back to back, and I think that everyone in the band feels like if we don't go away for a little while, like the public is just gonna, people that like our band are gonna be like, dude. It's like that. I remember years ago you saying like, God, I'm so over Tom Hanks. Like, I don't want to see that guy in another movie. He's just, the Green Mile, blah, blah, blah. I'm just sick of seeing him. And I think like our band's like at that point, like, I think you can recover from maybe like making a bad record or whatever, having a flop, but I don't think you can recover from being overexposed or whatever. So, I think that's kind of the idea. Maybe we'll probably work on some music next year, maybe make a new album,
do you think
but not tour.
Do you think nowadays that overexposure may not come from just the fact that you put a record out and do a world tour, but there's YouTube, there's a ton of extra videos on there from backstage. There's just more accessibility to seeing Foo Fighters hanging out. Do you think that maybe some of the burnout that you're talking about?
Well, think about when we were kids.
Yeah, we didn't have that.
I didn't even know what the guys in bands I liked looked like when they moved most of the time. I just had a picture on an album. And then if I was lucky enough that they actually came through our town, maybe you'd get to see them. But you didn't really know anything about these people nowadays. And it's not necessarily a negative thing, but nowadays everybody knows everything that you do. The YouTube footage of you walking out of a hotel, and everything's so immediate. And I think when you're touring all the time for years on end, it's like people are just like, come on, dude, give us a break.
Yeah,
go away for a little while. Let us miss you.
I'll always miss you.
I miss you every day.
Hey, I want to go back a few years. You grow up in Santa Barbara, California.
Yes.
You move down to Los Angeles. Right around that time period, you and I meet each other. We actually, the first person I ever jammed with in Hollywood, California, Chris Shiflett.
That's right. In my little work outfit, too.
I remember that. And
playing bass.
You were playing bass.
Yeah. That's right.
And then later on, you and I went on tour together with Wax, Mighty Mighty Boss Tones tour. And I remember that was like one of your first times out on the road.
That was my first time on the road.
Okay, so that's your first time out on the road. Now with, being in the Foo Fighters, just the amount of people you've met, everyone from, Zeppelin to, Paul Simonon of The Clash, do you sometimes just step back and go, man, how did I get here and what a ride it's been?
Absolutely. I mean, I'd like to think I appreciate everything that's ever happened for me. And, the things that I've been lucky enough to do have been amazing. But just to tie it all together, I mean, think about this. In my band, Dougie plays guitar. And I met Doug when I was roading for Wax at a warm-up show for the Boss Tones tour when you guys opened up for Dance Hall Crashers at the Palace.
Yep.
And Screw 32 opened up and Dougie was playing. Remember, and then we went up to Santa Barbara and did that show. And right after that, we left for that tour. And on that tour, I met Joe Kidd, who now plays drums for us. And it's like that's
Joe Kidd of the Boss Tones.
Yeah, Joe Kidd from Mighty Mighty Boss Tones. And, that whole experience. And we've been friends for years, and talked about jamming forever. And, it's just crazy. I look at, the first year, I went on the first year of the Warped Tour, and all the people on that tour practically, so many of the people that I befriended on that tour are still around, still work, have just gone on to do crazy things, whether it's Greg Teal or whoever, it's insane, the sort of the reach of the musical community, that you go through these tours and it's like lifelong friendships, and then you get, you're the same way. Like you could probably go just about anywhere in the world and somebody in that town, you go out to dinner with them, hang out, reminisce about, the good old days and
about the touring.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, that's the thing that's special to me. It's all the, I feel like I know people everywhere.
Yeah. Do you feel, obviously, with your brothers and, you're mentioning the background of Sabbath, I'm sure there was Zeppelin in the house.
Oh yeah.
Was it a trip?
Aerosmith, whatever.
Yeah, or I know that when you've met some of the members of Zeppelin, or even the bigger band, Queen.
Sure.
I mean, does it ever just take you back to like, man, if you would have said back when Mike, my older brother, was jamming this in the house, that someday I'd be sitting across from this guy, and let alone getting on stage, with some of these people, Jimmy Page or anyone.
It's been, yeah. I mean, it's every time is surreal. I remember right when I joined Foo Fighters, the first trip I went overseas, we went to England. We went to London, and the first night we got there, Taylor goes, "Yeah, we're gonna go out to dinner with Brian May from Queen." I was just like, what, for real? So we went out to dinner with him, and then the next night we went out with Roger Taylor, drummer from Queen, and Martin Chambers from the Pretenders. It was just like that. Like, I mean, it's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
You meet these people, and the thing is too, like most of those people are super cool, and then you meet, some goofball band at a radio show that is like touring on their first single, and the guy's a prick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's
like
always
it always
that guy.
works out that way.
Have you ever
know what I mean?
noticed that?
Yeah.
Anytime in my life that I've ever had a chance to meet someone, I remember the first time I met the Ramones, my biggest fear was, if I meet the Ramones, will they be jerks, and I'll be so disappointed. Or when I met Joe Strummer, and what'll he be like? And then I had the same meeting that everyone had. We drank all night together. It was great. And then you meet some prick. You don't even want to meet him.
Yeah.
They have a single that's happening currently at a station, and like you're, waiting for the porta potty together, and then they give you attitude. You're like, who is that guy?
Yeah.
And it's like the flavor of the month at that moment. You're
Absolutely.
like, by the time they get done using the porta potty, their song's off the radio.
Exactly. Yeah, no, it's standard. Because the people that, like, legendary people, like, whoever, John Paul Jones or whatever, like, they, that guy doesn't need to be a prick. He's got nothing to prove. He was in Zeppelin.
Yeah. He can just play his music.
Yeah.
Hey, one more thing I got to talk about Jackson United. I want to play the first song on here, because I remember hearing this as a demo, I think, when you guys remixed it or something.
Yeah.
21st Century Fight song. It's the lead-off track on the record. You guys are getting ready to go out on the road. If someone wants to know when you're rolling through town, when they can come and see you guys play, what do you recommend them
Just
checking
go to
out?
our MySpace thing, myspace.com/Jackson United.
Okay.
We're playing.
What about like a regular site, Jackson United?
I have it. JacksonUnited.com just directs you to our MySpace site.
Okay.
So someday I'll probably build out another website. But
A cell number?
Why
Anything
bother?
they can reach out on?
Let me give you my wife's cell phone number. She likes it when you call in the middle of the night, preferably drunk.
There you go.
Yeah.
Drunk dial Chris Shiflett's wife. That'd be amazing.
But if for anybody out there listening, we're doing 5 shows with the Loved Ones at the beginning of October on the West Coast. We're doing some shows with Flogging Molly later in the month with you guys.
22 Jacks
That's
back
right.
together.
And then then we're gonna go over to the UK, and then we're gonna go down to Australia with Anti-Flag, and we just got.
You're busy.
We're trying to just keep things moving.
So much for the hiatus. Chris
It's
Shiflett.
no hiatus for me, damn it.
Yeah, hey, Chris Shiflett, no hiatus.
No hiatus.
No break.
Yeah.
Chris, always a pleasure to have you come on.
Thank you for having
so
me, buddy.
much, dude.
Good
Seriously.
to see you. Always
And,
a treat.
Right now, this is the lead-off track. This is brand new music, Jackson United. Name of the record, Harmony and Dissidence. It's
You
in
got it
stores.
right.
Yes. I'm not a retard. No diss to retards if you're listening. Right now, we're going to go into the first track, lead-off track. This is 21st Century Fight Song. This is Complete Control Radio.